Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. James Pad Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parudikacharya Ashtotar to the Sri Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Kwantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktabinda Ki Jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Narayam Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamadirayet. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil. And loving devotion to the Supreme Lord, who is glorified in transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Okay, where is your device? We apparently don't have the verse on the board. I have Pocket Vedas on here. Does anyone need a device? What happened to our writer? Okay. Just as Sunday because he's working in the kitchen. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Here. It's 4-9-3. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Just to confirm, you didn't read this one, did you?
No.
I think you read 2. You read 1 and 2. Okay. All right, just confirm. Okay. On this 13th day of January 2019 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, text number 3. Tandarshanena gata sadva sakchitav abandhatangam vinamaya dandavat dribhyam prapashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujayra vashlishan Tandarshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujara vashlishan Tandarshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujara vashlishan Taddarshanena gata sadva sakshitav abandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujari vashlishan Taddarshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujari vashlishan. Zachary. Tandarshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujari vashlishan. Ladies. Tandarshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash brahmavasye nabujari vashlishan. Darshanena gata sadva sakshitav avandhatangam vinamaya dandavat drigbhyam papashyan papiban nivarbakash chumban nivasye nabujari vashlishan. Tandarshanena. Actually, everyone's got a device. I'll just read them through. You read along silently. Taddarshanena, after seeing the Lord Agata Sadvashaha, Dhruva Maharaj, being greatly confused, Chitao, on the ground, Abandhata, offered obeisances, Angam, his body, Vinamaya, prostrating, Dandavat, just like a rod, Drigbhyam, with his eyes, Papashyan, looking upon, Papiban, drinking, Eva like, Arbakaha, the boy, Chumban, kissing, Iba, like Asyena with his mouth, Bujai, with his arms, Iba, like Ashlishan, embracing. Translation. When Dhruva Maharaj saw his Lord just in front of him, he was greatly agitated and offered him obeisances and respect. He fell flat before him like a rod and became absorbed in love of Godhead. Dhruva Maharaj, in ecstasy, looked upon the Lord as if he were drinking the Lord with his eyes, kissing the lotus feet of the Lord with his mouth, and embracing the Lord with his arms. Purport. Naturally, when Dhruva Maharaj personally saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face, he was very much agitated in awe and respect, and it appeared as if he were drinking the entire body of the Lord with his eyes. The devotee's love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so intense that he wants to kiss the lotus feet of the Lord constantly, and he wants to touch the tips of the toes of the Lord and constantly embrace his lotus feet. All these features of Dhruva Maharaj's bodily expression indicate that upon seeing the Lord face to face, he developed the 8 kinds of transcendental ecstasy in his body. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unminatam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto him and all members of Sri Parampara. So, this is a rare glimpse into the very intimate dealings between a fully realized soul in love of Godhead and his worshipful Lord. And we can see that Dhruva Maharaj has come a long way in a short time. This is the Satya Yuga, and it only took him 6 months to come to this point after carefully following the instructions of Narada Muni in the matters of meditation and worship of Krishna, and especially, most amazingly, performance of extreme austerities, which are practically inconceivable. But the end result of all these extreme austerities, because of the direction of his meditation, even though his motive was, let's say, impure at the beginning, it became completely purified. And this is the actual fruit of the process of bhakti yoga, is this extreme ecstasy that results in these amazing symptoms. I was just happened to be reading Madhya Lila, chapter 2, which is a summary of Krishna's Antya Lila. And it just reminds me of what's being described there as Lord Chaitanya, because Madhya Lila, chapter 2, apparently Krishna's Kaviraj was thinking he might not finish the book. He says in the very chapter, I'm invalid, it's amazing, I can write, I can't see properly, I can't remember anything. So he was afraid he wouldn't get to the Antya Lila, which is really the main purpose of his writing the book. The devotees had requested him because the Chaitanya Bhagavat got so long that Vrindavan Das Thakur decided to basically omit the Antya Lila. I remember I was in Alachua, and I had never been to this Rath Yatra that takes place in St. Augustine every year. They have a lot of Rath Yatras all different parts of northern Florida. So, and I especially heard that Bhakti Charu Swami was going to be there. I didn't know that he had just bought a whole piece of land nearby, so I really wanted to go. So there's one devotee who I was friends with there, and he drove me out there, just the two of us. And it's a good hour, more than an hour and 15 minutes or so from Malatra, so it's a nice ride. So on the way back, after the Rath Yatra, which is very ecstatic, I was reading him the Chaitanya Bhagavat out loud. He was driving, I was reading. It was very nice, just reading the translations. And I picked a chapter that I knew was there in the Antya Kanda, they're called Kandas there. And it was a description of Lord Chaitanya sending Nityananda from Jagannath Puri to Bengal, to Navadvip, to preach. Nityananda just wanted to stay in Puri. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, I need to preach in Bengal through you. You're my agent there, you have to go. So he surrendered, took his Gopals, he had these 12 Gopals that he was always with, their associates and others, and off they went. And it was like a huge chapter. I mean, a chapter in the CC, I think the longest is 300 some odd verses. in the latter part of the Madhya Lila. He's describing all the philosophy and Sanatana Goswami and stuff, and talks with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So, but this chapter is on and on, over 600 verses, about Lord Nityananda, who is Vrindavan Das's guru. And it was the most amazing expressions. They just went. They didn't even bother to ask directions. They just went kirtan. It was like kirtan for like months, like a month or more, a month. And they gathered groups. It wasn't just, Lord Chaitanya and the 12 Gopals. They had a huge crowd and just went off. They started walking. Finally, they asked someone, which way to Bengal? He said, oh, you got to go way back. Go back. Trace your step. Go back this way. They were wandering. And wherever they went, it was just kirtan. And the the results of the kirtan were just like jaw-dropping. They would stop in a place. I forget the different names of the places they stopped. But and people in the this is mostly Orissa. Then we went to Bengal. I think it's still Orissa, and they're chanting the whole, and everybody's getting into it. They're all Vaishnavas of a sort, and suddenly they're this extreme ecstatic kirtan goes on, and people stopped worrying about work and sleep and eating and things like that, and it describes that they would start pulling up trees. Whole trees, and this was part of the symptom. They would jump up into the trees, and sometimes they would pull up trees. And even the children, they were pulling up trees and not eating, and it's on and on like that. And and so it got so long. What happened is he gave so much in several chapters about Nityananda. This was like a super long chapter that eventually he says the book's getting too long, and he left out the Antya Lila. So the devotees in Vrindavan, headed by the Goswamis, when Raghunath Das arrived, they appealed upon him. He wanted to commit suicide, but they said, no, we need to hear about Lord Chaitanya's Antya Lila. So he agreed to stay, and then 3 hours a day on the bank of the Radhakund, he would recount Lord Chaitanya's Antya Lila to everybody's delight. And Krishna's Kaviraj came. And he already had established himself as Kaviraj. He came as a fairly young man and wrote the Govinda Lilamrita, which is just filled with those amazing poetry and expression. And so he got the word Kaviraj, and then because of his skill, he was also listening and getting all this Leela about Lord Chaitanya. They wanted him to write down this Antya Lila for everybody. So that's how the CC came, and it has extensive Antya Lila. He was able to finish by Krishna's grace. They have the details. So in this second chapter, it describes the Lord's ecstatic symptoms and how he would listen to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, spend a lot of time with them, and he would listen to the songs of Vidyapati and Jayadev Goswami, the Gita Govinda. Now the Gita Govinda is circulated, we know about it, and it's pretty intimate stuff. You're not supposed to read it, extensively. But he would relish that, and Krishna Karnamrita. Now, Krishna Karnamrita is not quite so intimate. And there are several verses there that are quoted from the Krishna Karnamrita, and then Lord Chaitanya gives his explanation through Krishna's Kaviraj. And, and how Lord Chaitanya is, the tears are flowing, and the hair is standing on end, and he's falling on the ground, and speaking things that no one can understand, and on like that, and dancing to the point where Nityananda had to hold him, because it's just going on and on and on, hours and hours, beyond the limits of what you could think a human body could have. Of course, it's transcendental spiritual body, divine body. But this is explained. I was reading Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu also, and just details these different, you could say, like storms of emotion at this highest level of ecstatic love for Krishna. And they something, the humility is fighting with the man. Man is like a jealous anger, and then desperation, and the 33 vyabhichari symptoms. You find it described in the Nectar of Devotion. And so it's inconceivable. I mean, we go through life, and an ordinary life, and there are, certain high points, sometimes negative emotions of fear or anger, and you feel attraction,
and jubilation, you just won some money at the racetrack or something. And but it's not like this. It's not like all of them at once, and it's not so intense. It's mostly people like live the kind of blah lives, and then they're hoping for something on the weekend, really. But we have to understand that this is what's going on in the spiritual world. When you read Govinda Lilamrita, you can see. And I remember reading the Krishna book when I first read the Krishna book. It's no like just ordinary day when something just happens, and everyone goes to work. And every moment that's described, there's some emotion, there's some rasa. And if it's not going on, then Krishna will stir it up. I remember when I first read the Kaliya pastime. And you can see, well, he's engineered this whole thing to draw out these extreme emotions from the residents of Vrindavan. He's the we used to call him, what is it called? Someone who arranges. I have a feeling that you were both trained in ballet, right? From Russia. Young ladies, they all learn to dance. So ballet is huge, isn't it? And what is it? There's someone who arranges for the ballet. There's a certain name. I forget what it's called. Someone who arranges for the whole show and brings the artists in. Anyway, yeah. So Krishna is like that. He's the director. He's also the protagonist. He's the main hero. But it's a whole big play, engineer, and the whole purpose is for him to draw out these intense emotions from his great devotees. And you can see, why does he, when you study the chapter 9 of the 10th canto, this is the Damodar pastime. And you read it, it doesn't come out so explicitly in the translation, but you read the commentaries. Krishna arranged for it. You remember that she's doing the churning, she's singing of Krishna's Leela, she's very happy, and the special milk is boiling, that she's going to give to Krishna. So he starts the whole thing by grabbing hold of the churning rod. And if you look at the synonyms and you read creating a situation of love. So she's stopping it. Otherwise she's just going on and he's crawling in the yard and playing like an ordinary child. But no, he starts that, knows exactly what's going to happen. So she starts suckling him, and she stops, of course, and everything, and looking. And then the milk boils over. She goes in there to stop the milk boil over. He gets angry and breaks it, and the whole thing is arranged. So that starts the whole pastime. So every instance is like that. There's never a moment where the residents of Vrindavan are not at this highest level that we find with Dhruva. What's going on when an ordinary day goes and Krishna goes out with the cowherd boys? Because he's playing exuberantly and herding the cows and going. And the gopis are back home churning the butter, but they're singing, whether it's chapter 21 or chapter 35, And to the point of they're so much meditating on him while they're doing their work. They're saying this famous verse in the 21st chapter, Hantaya mandada bala haridasya varyo yid Rama Krishna chadanas padasha pramoda manam tano disahagogana yostayo yad pani suya vasakandana kandamula. The whole thing is like that, where they're appreciating all the other elements. Some of them are inanimate, like the cloud or the river, but they're, of course, all alive. How they're serving Krishna and they're relating to Krishna. And this one is about the Govardhan hill. This is one of the most famous verses there. Now, what do they say? Hantayam. Oh, hanta is a word indicating a high emotion. Usually means alas. In this case, I think it just means, oh, how wonderful. Ayam means this hill. How is it this hill? They are back in town, and Govardhan, if you go to Vrindavan, is a good 10 miles away. But because they're so much absorbed, they're feeling like they're right next to Krishna. This is the idea. So what does the verse mean? Hantaya mandada abala. Oh, abala. Abala means the weak ones. It's a word for girls. Oh, fellow gopis. Haridasya varyo, which means best of servants. We had a devotee here. Were you here? Haridasya varya das. He was named. But everyone called him Haridas. His name was really Haridasya Varyadas. That's the servant of Govardhan. So, why is so dear? Yad Ramakrishna Chadanas Padasha Pramoda. Well, a symptom is become very ecstatic just being walked on by Rama and Krishna. And it's feeling ecstatic to have those footprints impressed on its side, you see. Chadanas Padasha Pramoda. Pramoda, very joyful. Manam, with great respect, manam tanoti sahagogana yosayoya. It provides these wonderful things for the friends and for the cows. Paniya suyava sakandada kandamula. This is a sample. This wonderful water. We forget how important the pure water is. Pure water is a great gift of the nature and Krishna for our livelihood, because we're messing it up. It's hard to find pure water. But Govardhan Hill at that time, pure pristine mountain brooks. Pani yasuya vasakandada, and very soft gourmet grass for the cows and the calves to eat. Kandada kandamulai, caves. Imagine how wonderful it is. You're out there playing with your friends, when you find a cave which you can enter in and, play all kinds of games in the caves, or take shelter when it rains, And edible roots and things that they can have for a snack. So that's the sample. So the gopis are always in this state of high separation from Krishna, and meditating extremely intensely and feeling all of these ecstatic symptoms. So here Dhruva, he's completely forgotten about, the kingdom. That was his motive, right? He doesn't say, "Oh, Vishnu, thank you for coming. Can you please give me a kingdom greater than Brahma's?" He forgot all about that. He's just experiencing the Lord here, drinking the Lord with his eyes. So this drinking the beauty of the Lord with his eyes, this is a common symptom of all the residents of Vrindavan. At the end of the 9th chapter, there's a wonderful introductory verse to the 10th chapter. There's a verse about that, about drinking in the beauty of Krishna's face. Yasyanana makrakunda charukarna brajat kapodas bhagansa valasahasam nityotsavam tatapurdashabibhabancha nayo narastamudita kupita nimeshcha. You know what kupita nimeshcha? You know what the mesh is? The eyelids. They're condemning Brahma for creating eyelids, for impeding their vision of Krishna, Giridhari, for a split second. So, Yasyananam, his face, Makadakunda the Charukarna. So this is the wonderful gift of the Bhagavatam. There's numerous descriptions of Krishna, which are then expanded upon by the writings of the Goswamis. You get all the details about Krishna's form, and in the most beautiful poetry that you can remember if you want. So, his face, Makada Kundala. You know what the Makada Kundala, who can say? Makada Kundala, the earrings. Now, Makada is not exactly a shark, and not exactly a dolphin. It's a special fish that is symbolic of the conjugal rust. So he's always wearing that Makada Kundala. Charu Karna, on his very charming ears. Brajat, effulgent. Kapola Subhagam are reflecting off his effulgent cheeks. Subhagam, very nice, very beautiful. Savilasa Hasam, and he's smiling and laughing very playfully. So this is the face, everything's the face. Savilasa Hasam, Nityotsavam. This is an eternal festival of joy for all the residents of Vrindavan, this face of Krishna, whether they're seeing directly, which they really want to see, or whether they're just remembering. Natatrapur. They're never satiated. Their eyes are never satiated in seeing that face of Krishna. Jushabi Pabanjo. They're drinking it in. Just like he's drinking in, right? He's drinking in the face. It's like he's, kissing, drinking through his eyes. Pabanjo. Naryo narasta mudita. Not only the ladies, but also the men. They're also relishing that beautiful face. Mudita kupitastam, and they're thinking the Brahma is a fool, the creator of the eyelids. They're condemning him because it's split second they can't see Krishna. That comes up again. Another section. I love the chapter. One of my favorite chapters is Dhenukasura, where he killed Dhenu. You got all the different rasas there. So the main part is at the beginning, where they're going out into the forest. A beautiful description of how they're playing. After Krishna comes in and he says, he glorifies Lord Balaram. From first reading Krishna book, I realized somehow this chapter, Balaram is featured. He's glorified by Krishna. You remember, look, all of the deer are greeting you with their loving glances. The deer are known for that. This is their service. They can do basically two things. Give the musk, or look at the Lord with love. And so that's what they're doing. And the peacocks are dancing, and they're all greeting Balaram, and mostly the gopis are very happy to see you because you embrace them with their arms. And then they go on, and they play, and they play, and they play, and then the boys get hungry for the tala fruits, right? So that sets up, they say, oh, we're very hungry and please help us to get these tala fruits, which are ripe, but unfortunately nobody can go in there because of this donkey demon and all of his associates. So, so Krishna and Balaram laugh and they go forward, and Balaram goes in first. And what does he do? Remember, he shakes the tree. They always provoke the demon, right? Whether it's Kali or whatever. And shake the tree, and all the tala fruits come down, and Denuka is amazed that someone is, they're always so dumb, these demons, And so he dashes toward Balaram, then turns his back, which is what the donkeys do, and smashes him in the chest. But he didn't feel it any more than an elephant would feel a flower garland thrown at him. Usually, I think that's what they say. So then he, surprised, ran away, braying, and comes back, again, and tries it again. Balaram grabs those two hind legs, twirls around. If you get twirled around fast enough, you die. All the blood goes to your brain. And so he threw him up into the highest tree, and that all the weight started the tree going this way, that way, knocked down other trees. It was like a big crash, and everything comes down. So naturally, all of Denuka's friends and associates, Prabhupada says, instead of understanding, well, the most powerful of us got killed, maybe we should run instead of attack. But they're so angry, so they attack. They all get killed. Krishna. So after it's all over, and it describes in the Bhagavatam that the boys really didn't eat those fruits because they were messed up with the blood, of the Denukas. But the Aborigine people came, washed them off. So then they go back, and then on the way back, there's these two verses describing Krishna and Balaram entering the village and how the gopis had run out of their houses, which they do to see him. And let's see if I can remember. It goes. I forget. The first one is describing how his form is covered with the dust. The dust. Let me just bring this up. This is such a nice couple of verses here. That's 15. 10, 15. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. Tam Godajas Chudata Kundala Badha Barha Vanya Pasuna Viridikshana Charu Hasan Vedam Kwananta Manugada Bagita Kirtim Gopyo the Drikshita the Show Bhagabam Sameta. The same thing. The Drikshita the Show. We don't have the verse I can see here. But what was he doing? He was seeing Drigbhyam with his eyes, Papashan Prapiban, as if he's drinking in. So in this verse in 10, 15, 42, Lord Krishna's hair, powdered with the dust raised by the cows, was decorated with a peacock feather and forest flowers. The Lord glanced charmingly and smiled beautifully, playing upon his flute, while his companions chanted his glories. The gopis all together came forward to meet him. In a body, they came out of their houses, and they're looking at him, their eyes very eager to see him. And then it describes this drinking in the beauty. Pitva mukunda mukasara namakshi bringais, tapam jahuvada hajamba jayoshitono, tat sat kutim samadigamya vivesha goshtam savrida hasabinayam yadapanka moksha. With their bee-like eyes, the women of Vrindavan drank the honey of the beautiful face of Mukunda, and thus they gave up the distress they had felt during the day because of separation from him. So tapam jahu vidaha jam, born of vidaha, which is that ardent separation. The young Vrindavan ladies cast sidelong glances at the Lord, glances filled with bashfulness, laughter, and submission. And Krishna, completely accepting these glances as a proper offering of respect, entered the cowherd village. And then what happens is they go, and Mother Yashoda and Mohini, and they then greet their boys, and they're regarding them as little children. They're completely in the maternal mood. So you have the Sakya rasa, you have the Kanjaka rasa, now you have the Vatsalya. And they pamper them and feed them. And it describes in the Gopal Champu how the mothers offer arti, little arti to Krishna, which we don't see in the Bhagavatam. And then they very happily and peacefully go to take rest. So this reaction of the great devotees, the pure devotees, they're always going through this high emotion. When you read the Anjalili, you get such a view of that. So much of it looks like extreme suffering. Lord Chaitanya is in the Puri, and he's in the Gambhir. Some of you have been to Jagannath Puri. Did you go see the Gambhir? They're a little small, right? It's not that big a room. I didn't get to go in, but they have those footprints in there, I think. Anyway, I remember visiting. And it describes how he was in such agony of separation. He would rub his face on the wall, and the blood would come. And finally, Govinda had to keep his, to kind of half sleep with Lord Chaitanya's feet on his lap, so that if he got up, he would, he'd try to escape. He'd get out of the room and then go wandering and then go into the ocean. That happened too. So they were so worried that Lord Chaitanya would do harm to himself that they had to have all these protective things. But the intensity of emotion and the symptoms are, I remember reading this chapter I referred to, Madhya Lila chapter 2, and we'd heard how Lord Chaitanya would draw his arms and his legs into his body. But in chapter 2 it says, and his head. It says, oh my God. This is historical accounts here. You have to kind of, break the bonds of what you think is possible. And it describes, the Krishna Karnamrita is kind of a series of verses that's in this mood of separation, then meeting. It's just like a example of what Lord Chaitanya was feeling and what the great devotees are feeling all the time. It's separation, meeting, And the one doesn't work without the other. The separation is said to be the highest form. But it has to begin with meeting. There has to be some meeting for then the separation to take place, obviously. So the Krishna Karnamrita, there's all of these verses. I remember in the second chapter. He Deva, he Dayata, he Bhavanaka Bando, he Krishna, he Chapala, he Kodonaka Sindhu, he Nata, he Ramana, he Nayana Virama. Ha Kadana Bhavitasi Badang Drishomi. This is the Bilva Mangal in the mood of Gopi. Oh Lord, oh my beloved, hey Deva, hey Daya, hey Bhavanaka Bandhu, oh only friend of the universe. Hey Krishna, hey Chabala, oh Krishna, oh fickle one. Hey Krishna, hey Chabala, hey Karunaika Sindhu, only ocean of mercy. Hey Nata, hey Ramana, oh my Lord, oh my lover. Hey Ramana, hey Nayanabhirama. Nayanabhirama. We had a devotee named Nayanabhiram. No one knew what it meant. Nayanabhiram. Just as Nayanabhiram. Nayanabhirama means the delight of the eyes. Ha kadano babitasi badang drishome. When will you cross the path of my eyes again? This. So he has so many verses like that. And then there's the verse of meeting. What use are all these other days that I spent? These inauspicious days without seeing you. Without seeing Hari. Anata Bando, Karunaika Sindhu, friend of those who have no shelter. Lord, alas, when shall I see you again? It's a simple verse. And then comes Maraksvayamnu Madhuradu Mandalamnu Madhu Yamim. This is he. This may be he. It's Cupid personified. He who loosened the hair of the gopis. Sweetness personified. And there's these meeting verses. You get a kind of a flavor, at least, from our fallen position of, and the wonderful aesthetic thing. This whole thing of aesthetics. This is really what Vidagdha is about. Vidagdha Madhava, Vidagdha is used so much. So, what does Vidagdha mean? Prabhupada has this one definition in Nectar of Devotion that I always remembered. Means Vidagdha is one who lives at the Vidagdha lives at the highest levels of artistic craftsmanship. It means that the aesthetics of the beauty, and not only the beauty but the fragrances, the sounds, everything about Krishna is completely pleasing to the mind and to the heart. It's the source of all of the aesthetics in this universe. I remember one thing about Vidagdha Madhava, it said the flute sound, Krishna's flute, right? It's not an ordinary flute. It's the source of all instrumental and choral music that we ever hear. Now, of course, it becomes completely perverted, where you get, I don't want to name names, but, music that isn't even music. It's just some visceral beat that's meant to just, stimulate the lowest urges of the human being. rather than beautiful songs and instrumental music. There's one prayer that Rupa Goswami has. I think it's in the Virudavali. It says, Premon Vedat Valgabi Valayatasam Ballavi Vivabo Rago Lapat Valliki Vitatabi Kalyana Valli Buvi Solandam Mudali Kalabadamalam Mulladam Mullasiyan Balde Nolasate the Shamamata Dilli Labadut Pullia. Did you notice all the L's? The L's are said to be evocative of the conjugal ras. When you have a verse with a lot of L's in it, and the most amazing thing I don't think this has ever been, you've never heard this before, the graphics of the Devanagari, the double L is like two hearts, one on top of the other. I swear to God. So what does this verse mean? It says, Premod Vedat the Valgabiya. So it's a scene, he's painting a scene out in the forest, one of these bowers, it's almost like a Divyad Vrindavan Nikal Badramana. It's like a little bower with a little seat there of lotuses or whatever they're sitting on. And so Krishna's there, the gopis are there, and they pick up their venas. Did you know they play venas? And they're playing the venas in a certain raga. Premod Vedat, they're full of love. Premod Valgabiya, surrounding Krishna. Tram Ballavi Vivo, O Lord. Rago Lapata Valliki, they're playing the different ragas on their venas. Vitatabi Kalyana Valli Bhuvi, a very auspicious part of the forest, everything is auspicious. Valli. Soluntam, so Krishna hears these venas playing and surrounding him. He laughs, smiles. Soluntam Murali Kalaba, and he begins playing on his Murali, a certain raga that's mentioned there. Murali, Solantam Murali Kalabat Amalam Mullaram, the Mullara raga, which I don't know what it sounds like, but it's supposed to be super duper. Amalam, very pure and pristine. Balde Nolasate Dashalmamatadil. Please let this scene of Krishna in the forest and this idyllic scene with the gopis be manifested in my heart like lightning. Let it suddenly be revealed. And this kind of spurti, this sudden revelation, this is what happened here. He's meditating, going on 6 months, and performing more and more severe austerities. And then Vishnu comes down and appears to him outside. The outside vision is much more coveted even than the inside. And he goes into these ecstatic symptoms that we just read about. So, and the kissing the feet, it's a long way from pouting at not being able to get on his father's, lap. That was almost like just got him out in the forest so he could get the association of Narada and get the passage. But the whole point here is that this is what's there deep in our heart, this ecstatic love for Krishna that's been covered since time immemorial by the modes of nature and all of our nonsense and turning away from Krishna. We've lost touch. And there's all of this crud, that's on the heart, dust on the heart, or whatever you want to call it. And that love comes out in different ways, and materially. But that Ladani Shakti, when it's expressed as sense gratification, is the cause of great suffering. Rather than being here the engine or the impetus for the most extreme pleasure of love of Godhead. So this is, it just indicates to me, maybe this is one of the reasons why Lord Chaitanya loved to hear this pastime so much, is Dhruva. How it shows these ecstatic symptoms here. And one of the things that will result in is that he's going to offer these prayers. That's a natural tendency. When someone feels very ecstatic in relation to the worshipable Lord, you want to glorify, and you never want to stop. You could see that with Prabhupada. He never wanted to stop. If you think about he was writing, someone asked him, "What do you do here?" I think Mukunda Maharaj, I've been reading his book a little bit. What do you do here all day in the room? Mostly typing. You're not just typing. He's translating. He's absorbed in Bhagavatam or whatever other books he's translating, mostly Bhagavatam. And that all of that typing, it's all glorification, at the high level. You can write some nonsense novel, or you can type the translations of the Bhagavatam. So that writing is also moved by the desire to share, Krishna with others, because the idea is that everybody's got Krishna in their heart. It's not something that only a few can have, and you're looking for someone. Everyone can have, and you're looking for those few who are interested to move toward and purify their hearts so that they'll experience this, and you can share. There's one quote, Bhakti Vikas Swami sends out these nice quotes. Sometimes maybe I'll read those instead of the BTG ones I used to do. And somehow Prabhupada is explaining why. The analogy. Why does Krishna expand? It says Eko Bahusyam. There's these little phrases. The one, Supreme Lord, He expanded into many. You can't say when He did because He's eternally expanded. But why do that? Why not just be God? Because He wants to enjoy rasa, raso vaisa, and rasa meyayam labdvanandi bhavati, and the living entities, when they can take part in that rasa, they become anandis. I guess you know what that means, blissed out. And so that's the whole purpose of that. Is Krishna's motive. So Prabhupada, he says that's the same motive for the guru. Why make disciples? So there's a quote like that. So he can enjoy, Krishna Katha with them, and serving Krishna. And there was an account how Prabhupada seems always very ecstatic to be with his disciples. They're chanting and they're relishing Krishna Katha like that. So that's a result of making devotees, that you have someone who is now also excited about Krishna, and you can share, you can kirtan and so forth. You have a society. So, what else was I going to mention? I guess. Oh my God, we've gone over time. Any comments or questions with our nice new mic? Try it.
was that recent quote by Prakash sent out?
Yes, just a few days ago. I'd save them all. I'll try to dig it up. I'll give you the exact quote. I can forward it to you.
What do? You just how do you put them in a file? You save them all and put them in a file?
Yeah, I'm on the mailing list. I not only get those quotes, but I get announcements of his melas in India and when his Vyasa Puja is, I'm not concerned about. But mostly these quotes come to me. And I have, every day, there's like some.
But you save the email?
I just save them. I save them. They're in a file. I can call. I have hundreds of them now.
I wanted to ask, so I was thinking about this other day, because it's in relation to what you're saying about Krishna's pastimes, people understanding Krishna's pastimes, and there's that shloka that we were studying on Monday. We were doing class on
Syat Krishna Namata.
Carefully chant these names every day, and the disease goes.
Yes.
So I was thinking about that because a lot of times we think about that in relation to chanting.
Chanting japa.
And I was thinking about that in relation to studying Krishna's pastimes and so on. So, because some people, I don't know if they're attracted. I don't know, because everybody's attracted to different, you could say, aspects of Krishna consciousness, maybe, some level. But finding, you could say, a book that really inspires a person. Like some people are really attached to Chaitanya Bhagavatam, and they read it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's the idea of finding that, or if it's just.
Ask him what he wants.
Like somebody reads, for example, they say, "Oh, well, I read Chaitanya Charitamrita and read there, and of course it's ecstatic, but I really get a lot more out of Chaitanya Bhagavatam." So, in other words, sometimes devotees may wonder: is it that I'm just diseased and I have no attraction, or is it that I have some attraction, but I need to find the right
Combination? Yeah. Well, the Chaitanya Bhagavat is, it's really easy to get attracted because it's almost all Leela. And it's a special kind of Leela because it's historical. In other words, it's only 500 years ago. It's not like 5,000 years ago, And so, and you can go there and see the places, so there's a certain excitement there if you actually visit and then you see some of the Leela. So yeah, Chaitanya Bhagavat has a very special flavor. Chaitanya Charitamrita also has a lila, but it has a tremendous amount of philosophy woven in. And so that's harder to be spontaneously attracted to because it requires, an intellectual effort. But I always like to think about how, Srila Prabhupada was so eager to give us a philosophy because you have to have that foundation. Otherwise, it's very easy to get spirited away into some sahajiya element. Why waste all this time in the Bhagavad Gita? I remember talking to one devotee who was involved in another guru that became prominent in 1994, and said, "No, we don't even read the Gita anymore." The thing is, we're in ISKCON, and if you're going to really be part of ISKCON, you need to follow Prabhupada's mood and emphasis and so forth. That has to be a central part of it. And everyone knows how Prabhupada, was so adamant of people understanding the Gita, living by the Gita, and he took so much time, he quoted often from it. Why is that? Because we need that. You need to have that foundation philosophically, intellectually, because in the neophyte state, when the taste isn't there so much, you're sustained by your understanding. And your will can be strong enough to avoid the temptations of Maya. And you can remain strict in your sadhana. Otherwise, if it's all just feeling, then when you're not feeling it, then you let me go to Vrindavan, maybe I'll feel it there, and you become unsteady. It's not a steady platform. So we should try to cultivate a taste for all of Srila Prabhupada's books, and especially the core books like Gita and Bhagavatam. I mean, this. Who would be not attracted here? Sometimes in Bhagavatam you read one verse at a time, and you spend a long time and just analyzing the material elements, So, well, let me get to Chaitanya Bhagavat. I can read them. I like it. but to stick together and keep the whole society together, you need to have this, this class and get a taste for it. The challenge is how to make it, really attractive and understanding, all the books. And then, at a certain point, it all becomes attractive because it's all in relation to Krishna. It's important to realize. Okay. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Haribol. Oh, I'm sorry. Mike. Mike, give the mic. Yeah, there has to be a runner. There's no way of getting around it, whether it's the other one or this. Go ahead. Nobody can be as ecstatic as Lord Chaitanya. Even though you had the mic, I'll still repeat the question in the accent. To get to the Goloka Vrindavan, do you have to be as ecstatic as Lord Chaitanya? Yeah. No, but you have to be completely pure. You have to be completely pure of material desire. That Prabhupada said that, I just read it recently, which itself is a big challenge. And to become pure of material desire, if we practice intense devotional service, so it says, akama sarva kamova moksha kama hudadadi tivrena bhakti yogeni ajeta purusham param. So this is a very interesting verse at the beginning of the second canto, where Shukadev is telling Pariksit, after a whole long description about how you can worship the demigods to get specific things. You want strong senses, worship Indra, you want good health, worship Surya. It goes on from like 20 different... But then this verse comes, which is key. But if you are udaradi, if you're really intelligent, then whether you are free of material desire, on the transcendental platform, impersonal, or you're full of all kinds of material desires, or moksha kama, or you want liberation, no matter what you want, you should practice intense devotional service to the Supreme Person, Krishna. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Because that will give you what you really need, and at the same time what you really wanted all the time. And that's perfectly illustrated with Dhruva. So that intense devotional service has to be there in everything, whether it's our little neophyte sadhana, or big responsible devotion we may have after many years in the movement. The intensity has to be maintained. Otherwise, the intensity of Maya's attraction can overtake us. So that the Prabhupada said you have to be free of material desire, and it's only possible when your desire becomes greater and greater for serving Krishna, and the material desire just fades away. That's the idea. But as far as being as ecstatic as Lord Chaitanya, we can just worship it. You worship that. He's soaking everybody, he's in the Ratha Yatra, and his eyes are like two red syringes, and anyone who's near him, he's soaking them with tears that are shooting out of his eyes. Well, you can try to cultivate that, but I don't think you can be able to do it. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hari Bol.